for free at Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
San Antonio's Sports Star. San Antonio's Sports Center.
Las Vegas Summer League is getting underway today. The Spurs will start things tomorrow as they open up play against the Portland Trailblazers at 8 o'clock tomorrow night. And then they'll play the Hawks on Sunday night at 7. Former NFL defensive coordinator Monty Kiffin passed away at the age of 84 last night. The defensive wizard helped build the vaunted Tampa 2 and was a coach for more than 50 years, including the Cowboys defensive coordinator.
This is Extra Innings with Pleasure.
Truth is, I am Iron Man.
Rock and roll! The Texans win it!
You've been called the Da Vinci of our time. What do you say to that?
Absolutely ridiculous. I don't think.
That goal is history. A walk-off home run.
And it's going to be legendary.
James Pledger wraps your day with insight, opinion, plenty of sarcasm, and of course, your calls. He'll even pour a beer out the door for his favorite story of the day. This is Extra Innings with Pledger. Now, here's Pledge.
Welcome into Extra Innings with Pleasure right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. I am James Pledger. You can follow me on X, Instagram, all that good stuff, at I Am Pledger. You can follow the station at SA Sports Star. Thank y'all, however y'all may be listening, whether that's on 94.1 FM, listening via our AA Best Bail Bonds audio player at sasportstar.com, or if you are part of the YouTube crew. That is right. You can always follow every one of our shows live as it happens on YouTube. Search SA Sports Star. Subscribe. You can like, comment along with the shows. Appreciate everybody for rolling through in the bullpen here on Extra Innings right now. Rudolph, Miguel, Ms. Becky, Jacob Eric, Albert Lopez, what's going on, my guys? Look, every time I think I'm ready to put this story about Lauri Markkanen and the Spurs to bed, they just kind of pull me back in a little bit. And I was willing to be like, look, it's not going to happen. Utah wants to keep him. And then you get the reports from Zach Lowe and Tim McMahon today, and they let you know exactly how perfect the fit is.
Because I tell you what, man, Markkanen next to Wemby, you could talk me into the Spurs getting pretty good pretty soon.
Yeah, they've been my favorite Markkanen team for a while now. But
and they have extra picks, a lot of extra picks, including 2 Hawks unprotected and an unprotected Hawks swap. Like, they've got some high value picks as well. If San Antonio wants to really take a swing and it's, hey, we're going to move Markkanen into the highest bidder, which I shouldn't say that. The bidding is high enough that we're going to make a decision and move him to the highest bidder. If San Antonio wants to pull it off, I think the Spurs absolutely could pull it off.
Just when I think I'm out. You're right, Albert. They pull me back in. And they're absolutely right, because there are a lot of things that they can do with a Lauri Markkanen, who is an all-star, who averages 20-plus points a game, who shoots 40% from 3, who is 7 foot with handles and can be, with his and Wemby's versatility together, a front court nightmare for defenses. And you've already added a Harrison Barnes and a Chris Paul. And if you're able to hang on to a Devin Vassell, I could see that team as constructed as a top 4 seed in the Western Conference. Part of it is the addition of Lauri Markkanen, but part of it is also just how damn good Wemby is going to be in year 2. There won't be the slight learning curve. There won't be the Jeremy Sohan point guard experiment. There won't be all of these things that all games early in the year. And then at the end of the year, without Vassell, without Keldon, without Jeremy Sohan, Wemby was doing it by himself because he didn't want to have the worst record in franchise history. And he drugged this team over that threshold. Now you add a Stephon Castle to the mix, who is also a great defender. That is a team that I could see being a lot better than people predicted. And like they said, if they want to, this is something they could easily pull off.
What the Spurs have done this summer has been a very patient approach, even adding draft capital down the road.
Which they could trade too, like those swaps in
Sure.
2030 and 2031, Dallas, Minnesota, Boston, there's another one
Sacramento.
I'm forgetting. Like those are valuable.
Yeah. Who else did they just do? Sacramento. And they got Barnes is a very tradable contract. CP3 obviously is a tradable contract. I mean, he's not going to play in Utah, but Keldon Johnson's a tradable. Like if the Spurs want to take a huge swing, they absolutely can. But I like what they've done in the sense of they've kept their trade powder dry while putting a couple vets who will be great for the young guys on that team and help them field a competitive, structured, organized team this year. But not only keeping the trade powder dry, but adding to it. So again, I don't know what the Spurs' appetite is for trying to make a not just a win now move, but a win for a while move this early. But if they wanted to, they could.
That, like I said, I could easily see that team being so much better than anybody believes it could be. Right? And if that's the case, and you're talking about what it would cost, I know I've said it, 2025, not off the table for me in terms of the Hawks pick. I don't think they're going to be bad enough to be number one. They're going to be closer to what they were this year in the odds of having that low of odds and winning the lottery. I think the subtraction of DeJounte Murray is an addition for the team just in terms of the ball not sticking and two players that need the ball in their hands not having to play at the same time. It was forced. It didn't work. They punted on it. They kept Trae Young over DeJounte Murray, and they'll see where it goes from here. Is it still a playing team? Maybe. Did the Nets and Bulls just decide to tank and get worse? Absolutely. So they're already better than two of the teams in the Western Conference. And I don't think that the Wizards or the Hornets or even the Pistons did anything to gain any ground on Atlanta. So there's already 6-7 teams just in the Eastern Conference that are worse than Atlanta at this very second. Now, an injury could change the entire complexity of this equation. It is a mortgage of future assets for current talent. And how do you judge the current talent? And the problem and the sticking point of getting this deal done may be part of the current talent that's on the Spurs.
I bet it's a debate within the Spurs front office. I wonder the degree to which they've now made these transactions for CP and Harrison Barnes, gotten the draft equity that they got, and are sort of like, all right, let's just see like what this team looks like when we get it all together versus let's make another big splashy move. And I've said this before, like I can see the Markkanen Spurs negotiation, should they ever happen, made or broken on Devin Vassell. Like I if I'm Utah, like I need that guy both for my team and if I want to trade him down the line. Yeah. He's a good player on a good contract now. And if I'm the Spurs, I'm like, man, that's like central casting dude I want around Wembanyama. Like I don't know if we're ready to do all of that for Lauri Markkanen. So I could see it breaking down there, but who knows? I don't know.
It could be 2025. It could be Devin Vassell. And are you comfortable as a Spurs fan, I will ask y'all whether it's in the bullpen or if you want to call in and talk about it at 210-656-ESPN. That is 656-3776. If it came down to one or the other, if it came down to marketing and you had to either in a package of picks and players give up 2025 Atlanta or Devin Vassell, and one of those two had to be included in the trade package, would you do it? Or would you just roll into 2025 with your 4 first-round picks, possibly 3 second-round picks? That is 7 spots. That is half of your roster in the NBA that would have to be turned over. Is that what you would roll into 2025 with? A hope and a prayer that you land one of the top 4 or 5 prospects, or having a gluttony of picks that eat up. Remember, the reason they traded Dillingham was to open up, or the pick that was Rod Dillingham was to open up cap space. So 4 first-round picks would eat up a ton of cap space for the San Antonio Spurs if they all conveyed. Just keep that in mind. Would you prefer to keep 2025 and Devin Vassell, or give up one of those assets in a package to get a Lauri Markkanen for an attempt to win right now? 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776, or you can hit me on X at I Am Pledger. This is Extra Innings with Pledger right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportsstar.com. Coming up next, the Dallas Cowboys, they just don't get out of the news cycle, and we are just a couple of weeks away from training camp, and man, I cannot wait. But do the Cowboys actually, Jerry Jones and the crew, have the stones to pull off what it looks like they may be attempting to pull off? We'll discuss next right here on Extra Innings with Pledger on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star and the Gomez Law Firm present the first annual back-to-school drive. Saturday, August 3rd from noon till 2 p.m. while supplies last at Gomez Law Firm, 2943 Moss Rock Drive. Free backpacks and school supplies for all school-aged children. Only while supplies last, so don't be late. Saturday, August 3rd from noon to 2 p.m. at Gomez Law Firm, 2943 Moss Rock Drive. Presented by the Gomez Law Firm and in part by ProStar Home Care Services, Sonora Bank, Las Palabas, and 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
Sometimes those independent bands are the coolest people to hang around with compared to the really famous ones with security and bodyguards and everything. Sure. You remember Diner Junkies?
Is that the coolest anybody you've smoked a joint with?
Oh, no. Who's the coolest people you smoked a joint with? Michael Turley.
Okay.
No doubt about it.
No.
The John Clay Wolf Show.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9313. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9313. That's 800-575-9313. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
The fight for justice never ends. In Texas, there's only one name you need to know. Thomas J. Henry Law. We're one of the biggest personal injury firms in Texas with the money to fight for you. We invest in expert witnesses, investigators, and cutting-edge technology because the best evidence wins cases. And you only pay if we win. No upfront fees, no hidden costs. We give back to the communities we serve, from school supplies for families and pets. Thomas J. Henry. Visit us online at tjhlaw.com. San Antonio.
Okay, if you're sleeping on the hot summer styles and great prices at Kohl's, you're missing out. I just shopped there and scored stylish shirts for my husband, along with some cute crochet dresses for myself. Plus, I saved 30% with my Kohl's card. But even if you don't have one, you can still save an extra 20% on some other great finds and earn Kohl's cash. So what are you waiting for? Take your summer style from hot to sizzling and get to Kohl's. Select styles, 20% off GPO, valid through July 21st. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
No one knows the importance of a great assist more than Lowe's and Leo Messi. That's why we've teamed up to give MVP's Pro Rewards members 10 times the points when Messi makes an assist during CONMEBOL Copa America USA 2024. Activate this offer starting June 20th, so when Messi assists, you score. Shop the day after an assist to earn those extra points. Not an MVP's Pro Rewards member? Join today. Visit Lowe's.com/Messi for more details.
It would be the best story, not only in tennis, but maybe in sports.
We were just two young black girls playing in Compton. This is not normally how that story goes. I looked different. I played different. I was more emotional. I was better. I was stronger. I had muscles. I was something that no one had ever seen before, ever.
Stream the ESPN Plus original series, In the Arena, Serena Williams, presented by Morgan Stanley, now on ESPN Plus.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Okay, if you're sleeping on the hot summer styles and great prices at Kohl's, you're missing out. I just shopped there and scored stylish shirts for my husband, along with some cute crochet dresses for myself. Plus, I saved 30% with my Kohl's card. But even if you don't have one, you can still save an extra 20% on some other great finds and earn Kohl's cash. So what are you waiting for? Take your summer style from hot to sizzling and get to Kohl's. Select styles, 20% off GPO, valid through July 21st. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
It's Extra Innings with Pledger on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Welcome back into Extra Innings with Pledger right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. Appreciate y'all for riding along with me. We'll get into the Cowboys, but I wanted to address a couple of comments in the comment section with what we were talking about. As Jacob Eric said, when I was talking about the Spurs and the amount of draft picks and the amount of money they'd have tied up, they would kind of be like in the same boat as the Cowboys. No, they very well could be. And it also just causes a lot of roster turnover. So if you want these guys to grow together, turning over the roster by 7 players doesn't make a whole bunch of sense. Paul A says, at least wait until the trade deadline so we know more about where the Hawks are. And when it comes to the Hawks, and I'll say this, and you may think they're going to be horrible. I think they're going to be a lot better than people think, especially with where the rest of the Eastern Conference stacks up against them. This pick at an unknown quantity is a lot like a parlay that is 2 to 3 games away from completing, but it's like a 10-leg parlay. So the closer you get to hitting on it, you can buy out, cash out, and get some money. But if one of those legs of the parlay doesn't hit, you lose everything in terms of value of that ticket. That's what this Atlanta pick is, because if you hold on to it till the trade deadline and they're firmly in the play, let's say an 8 or a 7th seed, that pick's lost all its value in terms of trade value. Right now, it is at its peak value because there's an unknown quantity to it, right? So if you hold on to it, that value diminishes if the Hawks play above a bunch of the teams that are already presumed to be behind them coming into the year. And Jacob Eric says the Hawks will make sure that they try and win. Exactly. Why would Atlanta want to attempt to be bad on purpose when they don't control the destiny of their own pick? It makes zero sense. Tanking, they don't hold the rights to this pick. They don't hold the rights to next year's pick. And they don't hold the rights to 2027 either. So 25, 26, and 27, they don't own the rights to any of those picks. The Spurs do. They have unprotected, swap, unprotected. What is the point of Atlanta potentially purposefully tanking? There's no point to it. So Atlanta's going to try to win games. It's not like the Spurs trying to lose on purpose to get Wemby. They had their own pick. There was a plan to do that, and it made sense. Unless Landry Fields is a bumbling moron, which I don't believe him to be, there is no incentive for the Hawks to be as bad as to get into the lottery. Their whole goal is to stay out of the lottery. And yes, Trae Young injury changes everything. I said that earlier. So, Paul, you're right. One injury changes everything. And that may be reason enough to hold on to it. Like I said, would you rather part with Devin or would you rather part with 2025 if you got a market in return, or would you just rather wait and see how 2025 plays out? Maybe you get nothing. It's up to you. There's the bird in the hand versus the bush. Like, what do you want? Drew Show, Cooper Flag, Fever, San Antonio Spurs, hitting them bad. You're not wrong about that. But you see more and more Cooper Flag highlights, and I guarantee you, once you start seeing them playing at Duke on the consistent, that is also going to take over more and more as this season drags on. But at that point, I think it'll be a moot point because I do think the Atlanta Hawks are going to be a lot better than people are giving them credit for. Dallas Cowboys, I also think are going to be better than people are giving them credit for because a lot of people think that they're going to be awful. They don't have the overwhelming talent that they had last year, but they have the talent in the right positions to be as good as they want to be, barring injury. The problem is there's not a lot of depth there. But could the Cowboys be trying to do something very, very bold in playing these contract negotiations all the way out until the end, and then potentially losing out on everything? Because Joe Reinagle said it here on the Blitz, and now Mike Tannenbaum is on board with ESPN Get Up, former general manager, about Dak possibly being done with the sideshow in Dallas.
How do you know that he necessarily wants to be there? Like, maybe he wants to play out the contract and say, you know what, like, it's been an honor and privilege to be the, quarterback of the Cowboys, but maybe, being the quarterback of a somewhat little bit more of an anonymous team is, something I want to try for the next part of my career. Maybe it's Vegas or countless other teams that are a little bit more under the radar. So it's such a high profile position that it wouldn't be, to me, unreasonable to think that maybe, you know what, I'll be 32. I've seen one thing in my career, and I just want to maybe have one other experience before I retire.
And that may all be true. But as far as I've ever known from Dak loves the Cowboys. He's loved them since he was a kid, and it's his dream team. So I find it hard him of that situation. I appreciate all y'all for stopping by tonight. We got Rangers baseball as they take on the Astros here for their final series before the All-Star break. That's going to do it for us here on Extra Innings with Pledger. We'll be back on Monday with more. I got a concert to get ready for, guys. We'll see you on Monday.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star and the Gomez Law Firm present the first annual back-to-school drive, Saturday, August 3rd from noon till 2 p.m.